And I think of these peony on the altar is the talk. If you can see it, that's the problem. So we've been studying the Lankavatara Sutra. It means that everything you see is just a projection of the mind. As simple as that. Isn't that's kind of confronting, isn't it? But it's the truth. Everything you see is the projection of your mind, your thinking mind, subject and object. So, also, this photograph uh, that no one takes, no one can take is from Bodh Gaya. If you go there with your cell phone or your camera, you cannot take the picture. You have to go there in person and see it for yourself. Things are getting so convenient for ourselves. It just compounds the structure of not seeing what is real. Not that you aren't real, but you have to still discover that because you see yourself as an object, as an idea, which is the false self. It's simple as that. But not many people train to complete the self because we've been so conditioned. I mean, there was a student that came up to Bullsport and she took all the information from her iPhone because she didn't have to remember it, she didn't have to copy it. She has it on iPhone. But it's almost like invasive, not even asking permission. These phones are that maybe have some good, but they're also addictive. And the addiction compounds itself in our life. It makes us unhappy. We're not happy, especially when you're old. You've got to become happy. So this photograph was given to us by Adele from Poland, and she was there at Bodh Gaya, and they gave it to her. And so His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Karmapa, who probably haven't heard about much, but he is a very high Lama, the Karmapa. And the first thing they do when they go to Bodh Gaya, that's where Buddha was enlightened, Bodh Gaya, they go to that statue and they do their prostrations. Tenga Rinpoche, who was the attendant of the Karmapa for about 6 years, to be an attendant to someone who in spiritual level is even higher than the Dalai Lama for 6 years is really an honor. And you have to be on your feet when you're with Karmapa. You're with the Buddha. Just imagine yourself sitting next to the Buddha. What would you be doing? And they say you've heard Zen teachers say that Buddha did not come from India, nor did Bodhidharma come to China, because they are here. That's how close it is. It's actually surprisingly close. And people who study or try to begin to study meditation, the first false premise is that you want to be calm. But they have no idea that they are already calm. No matter what. No matter what you think, this is not premise, this is the truth. Because how could you be calm if you didn't have it already. How could you see beauty if you didn't have it already? It's within yourself. So this is the whole thing. It's totally within yourself. But to uh, discover that, it takes training, and people don't like to train. Zen is not popular. Its profundity doesn't lure many people because it's too much work. After the pandemic and the cell phones, we don't even have to appear in person anymore. In person is lessening your projection. TV, the cell phone, everything adds to our projection of the self, of your own mind. It's not the real thing. So we had uh, a ceremony called Fusatsu last night, and ceremony is not ceremonial like or ritual like we've been brought up to think, but it um, it appeases. Real ceremony, it appeases and makes people happy and satisfied. That's the purpose of ceremony. And when we came out, there was the full moon shining on us. But you know, when you see the moon, you see it. And I used to stand out there and watch it for a long time, but that was a little bit too much because I'm trying to squeeze something out of the moon or trying to make it into something, maybe make it into a light, but you can't. You just see it. Thank you very much for coinciding with our ceremony, and you move on. You are not attached. So more and more so, the grasping and attachment is what makes us, I guess, in bondage, in prison with ourselves. And there's a little book that I received maybe 55 years ago, and it had the 8 aspects of the secular mind, how they are transformed into the 4 aspects of the enlightened mind. And so I looked at it, and it's really a nice book, but the formulas is in the back, and it was like so complicated, and all these Japanese names, it was too much for me, so I just put it away. But eventually, it made more and more and more sense. Now, how, like the Heart Sutra, actually, heart is not about this heart. It's about, heart means mind. The mind of the mind means everything. The heart is too emotional. When you study, you have to go past your emotion to your mind, and then you have heart. But this other heart that we think of is too emotional. We have to transcend our emotions. Not that we become emotionless, but we become real emotion without attachment. We cry, we cry, we cry, but we're not crying for days. We just finish crying. That's it. You know, it's being a real human being. Okay, so in the Heart Sutra, it says, form, this form is emptiness. Um, so this is kind of frightening people because that means you don't exist. Okay, when we go ahead, this form is emptiness. And this emptiness means it's no separate or independent self-existence. This form is actually formless. And then you have emptiness is form. Form is emptiness is, Suzuki Roshi used to say, it's pretty easy. Okay? But emptiness is form is more difficult because you have to apply the teaching. When you're sick, you know, when you're going to the bathroom, when you're helping someone that had fallen down, you have, when you drop something, when you can't find something, you have to apply the emptiness to form. That's difficult. So there's application of practice, and that's how you mature. So that's the opening, and you may have this opening without any discipline because you're a human being. You're open to it. You will see form's emptiness, maybe a little bit emptiness is form. That is the initial key to the entire thing. But how did that happen? You have to start thinking, how did it happen? It happened because it was unproduced. We're conditioned, so used to producing and creating everything. This is unproduced. This is non-arising, just demonstrated. Unproduced, no thought. So that's the whole essence. It's strange, isn't it? I mean, we're not trying to kill the thinking mind, the intellect, because we would kill humanity. But we want to not be bounded by it in the duality, the condition of this mind that we're tradition, culture. Ever since you were born, it was from here to the nipple, to the mother. Then later on, the separation gets more conditioned, and it becomes a condition of the separation between subject and object. The whole world is the worst it has ever been. I mean, every year is, God, it was really a bad year, but this year is the worst of the worst. And that's what brings people here. But there's a lot of training and discipline that goes to turn the conditioning around. And I remember Suzuki Roshi used to say, there's two sides to one coin. So that's a very message that everyone knows, but you do not know that within delusion there's enlightenment. Within our delusion there's enlightenment. Within light there's darkness. Within darkness there's light. Those are the two from the one. It's called non-duality. And the skandhas, which I will talk about, the five skandhas, which make up the false self, which makes up who you think you are, but you're not it. I'm sorry. I, well, Buddha was much better speaker than I am, but he said it may frighten people, so you say something more gentle, like, or there's a story about the father trying to save his children in a burning house. So what did he do? He didn't say there's a fire. That would make people scared. So he made this. In those days, he made a big cart with peonies and lotus, and the kids saw it and they ran out and got in the cart. That's a more maybe easier way, but he says certain teachings will frighten people. But anyway, we're frightened already. It doesn't matter. So okay, yeah, there's a lot like the Karmapa. He came like in the what year was that? Like in the 80s, the Karmapa came. His Holiness the Karmapa, and I think they took him to the Empire State Building, and the Karmapa looked. I mean, he had never been out of Nepal, Tibet, and he looked down. He saw all the people, and he began crying because he says all of them are suffering, but they don't even know it. Thich Nhat Hanh used to mention to people, you have to look at your suffering. And even though I was a practitioner, I said, I don't have any suffering. But when you look, you will see your own suffering, your sadness, your fear, your emotions. It's only natural. But because you see your own, you will see that same suffering in humanity. And it's not just, it's the three worst things for humanity. I wouldn't say the worst, but it's pretty bad, is our greed, our violence, and our ignorance. Those are the three. It's not sins, but those are the threes are dealt with in a meditation practice. And in the Lankava Sutra, it says, if you don't know it, if you don't train in it, you will harm yourself and you will harm other people. Whether you're a spiritual person that does not know it or whether you're just an ordinary person. That's how it is. So unproduced, uncreated. Your first realization is not quite enlightenment. It's seeing the truth at that very moment. And then it's gone. And what you want to do, it's gone because you want to prolong it. And that's conditioning. You want to stay with it. But it's gone. So here are the 8 aspects of the secular mind. And the first 5 is our senses. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touch. And then the Buddhists add one more. 6 is your mentality. And then what happens is that mentality is 6, 7 is discrimination or volition or will. And the last one is called the alaya vijnana. And this is unique for our school, the Buddhist school. No other path has this. So here it is again. Alaya vijnana is the storehouse, the repository of consciousness. And our consciousness, because we can't see what is true, it starts adding up. So all the good things you see, as well as all the bad things you see, and it's all the things you make are in between. They go into your repository consciousness. And there's a time when the conditions are ripe, those seeds blossom, which cause karma. And karma causes suffering. And it's how they are transformed is through training and practice. Many years of training. Is it worth it? People don't want to train. People don't want to do, woodwork, joinery. People are more used to automatic things, quick. But it takes years of training. But as you start training with a good teacher, she or he will point to where it is within yourself. First, you are already experiencing it, but you don't know it. You're not aware of it. Every human being has experienced no thinking, no producing, but you're not aware. And the quicker you are in your life, the less you're aware because you're moving on too quickly. So, and you need a teacher to point it out that that's it. But it's like a seed, it needs nourishment and it needs training, practice, study, and furthering until it becomes uh, full grown. And when it's full grown, then you can help. You can help people. You can help the people. That was one of the sentences in the three refuges. I take refuge in the Sangha, that is the community, with all living beings. Help the people. Help the people. Help yourself to help the people. This allows peacefulness to pervade everywhere. So, to continue about the 8 aspects of the secular mind and how they are transformed into the 4 aspects of the enlightened mind. So the repository consciousness, which I mentioned, it's called the great round mirror. So 2 sides of one coin, the dark side and the light side. And so that's transformed through training practice into, they call it the Tathagata Garba. That's the Tathagata's womb. Within yourself, it's transformed. And how is it transformed? By seeing emptiness, and emptiness seeing you. By not doing anything, but not thinking about anything, is where this transformation takes place. And in the ceremony, there's the last night ceremony. There's the 10 precepts, and the officiant rings a bell. The officiant has a actually, well, I have a very small bell, but usually it's a larger bell. But when it's wrong, because the officiant is not doing anything, not thinking about ringing it, that little bell fills the whole zenda and it cuts off your thinking mind. That's what happens. The ritual, chants, bells, all the ritual bells, the drum, cuts your thinking mind. Just as when you're in nature, listening to a stream, you're not thinking there, but you need to have that pointed out. And that kind of training and practice and awareness, you begin realizing, it starts building. Your wisdom starts building. And then you realize it. And if you don't realize it, your teacher points it out. That's it. So the great round mirror, Nyose and I went to the Ise Shrine in Japan. And I had heard that there was a great round mirror in that temple. So we made a 5-hour train ride from Shizuoka to Nagoya. And when we got there, I didn't realize there were thousands of people. It's a huge national park. People from all over the world go there. But most people, and even the people that work there, don't know what the shrine is or where is it, because it's acres and acres. And so we finally found where the shrine was. And we had missed our chance by not writing a letter to the emperor and asking him if we could enter into the what do you call it? The secret. What do you? Huh?
The inner sanctum.
The inner sanctum. That's a great word, but it's true. There are some authenticity places still alive because people maintain it. So they didn't know where the inner sanctum was, and she is Amaterasu Omikami, Kami's spirit. She's the progenitor of Japan, the rising sun. Okay, so we finally found, but there was like 1,000 pilgrims with cell phones and cameras taking pictures, and all of a sudden they left. That's unusual. What happened? Where'd they go? It must have been the bus. Okay. So we were up front, and we were next to the Torii gate. It's about as tall as the wall, and just as big. And there was a curtain that was maybe, I don't know, 6 inches thick, and that curtain was moving. Like that. That's the kami inside. She's alive, and so that's the great round mirror. The great round mirror is, if you hold a mirror, whatever is in front of it reflects it directly, without projection, without interpretation, without discrimination. So we are standing in front of reality everywhere we go, but because we're projecting, we're discriminating, we're doubting, we're in the next moment, we're not there. So where are you? You have your choice. Okay, that's the great round mirror, and the Alaya Vijnana turns into the Tathagata Garba. Tathagata means going and coming, but actually there's no such thing as going and coming. But the going in suchness and coming in suchness is difference. So that's the great round mirror. And that isn't that that's the freedom. Two sides of one coin. If two sides of one coin does not exist, the universe would collapse. It's true. It's the principle of the universe. Buddhism, Buddha Dharma follows the principles of the universe. It's not man-made. Okay, so the next one is our discrimination. You know, that's one of the skandhas. Um, and the discrimination turns into compassion by not doing anything. Isn't it great? We don't have to do anything, but doing nothing is very difficult. It takes training, but you have it. But it needs to be trained, studied, and practiced. Okay, so that's discrimination. That's a big karma causing thing. Volition, will, discrimination, and then the last one is, of course, is our five senses. It turns into practical wisdom. So the next time you pick up a glass, because you and the glass are the same. Okay, that was your first realization, right? So when you pick up the glass, it's no longer an object. The glass is a living thing. You and the glass are not separate. It's a living thing. And this glass is good to me. You know, it gives, I can put water in, I could drink from it. You know, if I didn't have this glass, I'd have to drink another way. So I'm happy with this glass. This glass is happy with me. Okay. So your um, the self is not self-centered. There's two uh, states of self. One is I am permanent. I am the center of the universe. I am separate from. I have independent existence. Everything, and then the second self is what belongs to this self. That's two big mistakes. Who we think we are, and all things that belong. We don't own anything. If you own something, it shouldn't change. But things are changing. Things are impermanent. You can't own anything. But you can be form as emptiness. You can realize it in a different. These things in a different way. They are not outside of ourselves. So yeah. So maybe this is a good place to stop, and then you can ask questions. I invite questions. We met some priests from Hawaii the other Friday, and yeah, I've been sitting since 1960. Okay, every day except for a few days off. Sundays is a day off, right? And I asked them. I said, since you're Soto Zen priest, you should know something about Zazen, about sitting, and you should ask me. No one did. And that's really a shame because when they have no idea what meditation is, that's the end of the Dharma. And the ending of the Dharma is happening all over, and not in Catholicism, Judaism, the Benedictine monastery that I go to for 30 years. They don't know what it is anymore. They don't have anybody transmitting the tradition, the authenticity, the profundity of the tradition. And they don't have anybody that wants to know it either. Too much work. That's what's happening. So please ask.
Could you talk about suchness a little bit?
Yeah, suchness. I thought suchness was emptiness, but actually suchness is the realization of reality. So they have suchness and correct knowledge. Correct knowledge is what Buddha realized. Suchness is if suchness is before correct knowledge, it means it's experiential. And when suchness follows correct knowledge, it's the system, relative. So suchness is reality, but the things are real. But to achieve suchness, you have not do anything. See, it's not being asleep. In fact, you're you're completely aware when you're not doing anything. Yes.
Um, what is the purpose of all the study of all this and meditation within itself? And you talk about, certain religions such as Catholicism and Christianity and all that stuff. And it seems like you're saying that it's starting to kind of die off in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
What is the ultimate purpose of this practice?
Yeah. So you can
It's kind of a generalized question. But
yeah, no. So we can be in the present and we can participate in this wonderful world, not the way we did before, because we're separated. Duality, the subject and the object is separated. That's the purpose. You don't see many old people smiling anymore, even when they're sick. You know, there's a joy in life. It's beyond. It's beyond happiness. Just a wonderful joy that you want to share with everyone. So, okay, it's a good question though. Why do this?
Why now more than ever before is the Dharma of all the religions, and there's so much attack on the whole?
Yeah, it can a little bit louder.
Why now more than ever before in history is the Dharma of all religions under this direct attack, and what are the seeds of that attack that have been watered so thoroughly that they are taking root?
Yeah. Actually, you know, when the great teachers, Asian teachers came, starting in 1960, it's not more than one or two generations. Everyone is not solid anymore. It just took one or two generations. It's gone. And like Judaism, the Kabbalah, they don't. The last person that taught meditation, he died. He didn't transmit it to somebody for some reason. It's not good. And the technology and science has become the religion, and the media and consumerism is the religion. That's what people believe. It's just an AI, the artificial intelligence. I mean, there's no ethics. There's no morality anymore. People don't know what is left, nor right, nor true or false. You know, that's what's happening. And the media and the iPhones make it accelerated. We have to do something. Thich Nhat Hanh said that this would be the year of spiritualism again, because things are so bad. Yeah. It's catching up with us. Yes. Your name is
Dennis.
Dennis. Dennis. Yeah. What's your Dharma name?
Seishu Kai Kong.
Seishu Kai Kong. And that means
life protector. Dharma jewel.
Wow. Big name. Yeah. Yes.
It's my job description.
It's a big job.
It's
It's the biggest job. Yes.
Roshi, it's so good to see you, and thank you for talking about the mirror.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about Dogen's question. If we already are Buddha nature.
Oh yeah, right.
If we are already original enlightenment.
Yeah.
Why do we practice? What is the value of practice?
Right. Yeah.
And the mirror that you talked about. Yeah. I've been reading David Fraser, the dark side of the mirror. That we have to become dark inside, empty, so we can truly see. Yeah. And you reminded me of this with the big mirror. So can you tell us more about the big round mirror?
It actually isn't that big. Like before you
neither is a dewdrop.
Before you go to see the Mississippi River, you start I started thinking about it, but when I got there, it's just a river. And the same with the mirror. I thought it was, well, I had heard that in a room larger than this, the only thing in there was this huge mirror. And it must blow people's mind when they have the permission of the emperor to go in there and they're startled. But actually, I saw a picture that maybe a tourist took but didn't know what he or she was doing. And the mirror's only this big. But still, there's an altar, but very, very austere like this, the Zen. Yeah. The mirror is very important because that's our true mind. No projection. You know, but that's what they call seeing as it is. That's where the Zen phrase comes from, the mirror.